All right, Stephen Marler.
So what's our subject today?
We're talking about you. We're talking about Houston.
Okay.
We're talking about the business model and explain the process. He told me a little bit about the process.
Okay.
So I'm an advisor. I have high net worth clients that
Great.
want this special package of offerings that you guys have,
Great.
which sounds like a lot. What's the first steps?
So, speaking of wealth management, what you're in, I had a gentleman from Minnesota that contacted me one time, said, I heard about your program. I've got some individuals that basically have exited a few years ago. They've played golf. They've been traveled with their wife, and now they're concerned about longevity and, other things, obviously. And he said, what do you do? And so I went through our program. He brought the group down, actually here into our Plano office, which is in Medical City, Plano. We started out the morning with these guys, and I said, just before we get started, what's your name, where are you from, and why are you here? And, he had a wealth conference going on there as well, so he was going to spend a day with them talking about the newest investments and things like that. Without exception, told their name, where they were from, and I'm here for my health longevity. Your health is your wealth. And so our motto kind of is, well, it's been live longer, healthier.
Yeah.
But now it's your wealth is health. Invest in yours. And that's what we do every day. We invest our time and effort and money into the technology. And for today, as we speak, I have the images on my phone in Houston, Texas. We are installing what's called a Genesis 640 CT. It's the most advanced CT in the world. And there's only a few already in operation, mainly in research facilities today. We're the only freestanding, self-admitting type facility that has this device. And we'll have it up and running next week. But we're putting one here in Plano as well. And so the keys to the technology, look around this room. Every time I came to the one last year in Orlando, and I see new things that's so advanced. The technology is on a hyper move up.
And AI is going to accelerate that as well.
And the stuff going on in DNA, with as you're well versed in it as more than most people I meet in this adventure. But as you know, the data, they've collected so much data from our DNA, and everyone has markers, and not to get too deep into it, but if they do take my set of data, which we do a very full genome deep pass, 150,000 passes, if you know what that looks like, compared to most of your genetic companies do about 1,500. So they still get plenty of data to determine, things that they need. But if you really want this data, the key is once they get this data compressed and all of it comparative analysis done with everyone else in the world, but the amount of data is incomprehensible, especially from a guy from Southwest Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But the computer speed we have, and they have multiple servers running night and day, crunching this data. If we get quantum computing, this will advance rapidly. But once we have that data,
it's turning years into months, months into weeks, weeks into days,
and then
to come to conclusions.
We will be able to take our DNA, and it will healthcare will not exist, because the things that we will know about our body, the dictionary of our code, they will develop not only treatments, but the ability to edit genes, which they're already doing, the CRISPR and things that are going on, but it will revolutionize in just a couple of years.
Sickle cells are already being solved with one edit.
Yep.
That was a few years ago.
Yep. Our goal is, first of all, we want to find out if you have an immediate threat. That's why we invest in this scanning technology. And I know there's a lot of talk about MRIs, body scans today. It's a totally different physics. The MRI was designed to scan a small area, for an injury type device. It doesn't do a great job detail wise. The number one killer of all diseases is heart disease. MR doesn't image the heart without contrast at all. And most of these guys don't use contrast and shouldn't for a preventive type scan. CT is the gold standard. It can image the heart, the valves, the vessels, calcium blockage. And that's why 95% of scans that are done on the heart with CT scans. But it's also marvelous at scanning the rest, especially the new technology. This new machine, I can scan head to toe in 30 seconds. The salesman tells me less, but I'm going to go with the engineer because they're typically right. And it sees every organ, all your vessels in and around your heart. It sees calcium blockage in the brain, aneurysms, all types of illnesses, tumors, cancers. And you don't have to change clothes. There's no needles or no dyes. It takes 30 seconds. You're in and out of the machine. So
you obviously roll in a circle with people that can afford this type of treatment. What's the coolest story with a family friend or a friend that came to you and was so happy that they did?
In 2011, I put my dad, who is going to be 89 next month, in the machine. And immediately, and I had very little experience at looking at these images. We had done imaging for a while, and I called the radiologist, said, "What is that?" And he said, "That is calcium on your dad's heart valve on the outside of it." Now, my dad smoked Camel no filters for 50 years. And if you ask him about it, he said, "I loved every damn one of them." That's just the personality we're dealing with. But got him right to a cardiologist. You know, we'll talk about access. You're amazing at that as well. We got him in to see a cardiologist the next Monday, the Monday after that. And they said, "We got to go in." And at that time, they unzipped your sternum to go in and repair a valve. So did open heart, put a new valve in. We scanned him. We continuously do an annual program. That's what we recommend. A few years later, we found out he had a little tumor growing, looked like near his carotids, and had it checked. And sure enough, he had carcinoma, a squamous cell carcinoma. Caught it very early. He was able to get treatment. As I said, he'll be 89 next month.
Wow.
So it saved his life.
Does he still mess with you, or does he?
Oh, yeah. Every day. So when he was laying on his heart machine, life machine, after the surgery, I know the doc, I said, "Hey, ribbing about smoking these Camel cigarettes." And he walks in, he says, "Well, Ray, you smoke?" And my dad's laying there. He says, "You got one?" Yeah. I mean, you can't change that old generation. They are who they are.
What's your title? CEO?
Yeah, I'm the owner of the company.
Okay.
We started it in 2011 is when we really first started doing the scans. It's evolved. We've added all the biologics and the other things that we're doing, DNA, lots of different services that go into the program. You can find it at advancedlongevity.com.
Great.
And it has a lot of the information there. But as I was saying, the first thing we want to do is find out if you have a threat today. In other words, what could kill you in the next 30 days?
Right.
And we do that with the scans and the technology. We have a staff board certified radiologist. He's only ever read, the big area scans. That's one of the difference between CT and MR. MR is a small area. CT, we do a large area.
Speaking of the radiologists, I've been reading a lot about there's like a competition that goes on the last 3 or 4 years between an AI based radiology versus the humans. And I'm hearing that the AI version is starting to beat some humans.
Actually, we looked at this almost 7 years ago.
Really?
I don't know what happened to that software, but I haven't seen it since. So, but no, truthfully, the AI is out there. If you hear people say, "Well, is it going to take jobs?" If there was ever a set of professionals that it would take their job, it would be radiologists.
Yeah.
Because
I think there's going to be fewer and fewer in that field, but it's not going to go to zero. You're still going to have the world class, probably your people level.
Great point.
Right.
What it does is it takes out the normal scans, and then the abnormal ones get overread by the radiologist. It will greatly enhance their capabilities and the speed of getting the results back. But again, the fear-based concern that's out there is kind of keeping that from coming to market. It's been around for a minute, and it actually is very efficient at what it does. So, but AI is helping in the medical space everywhere you look. We have a brain scan that we've done for a few years. We recently got we have a partnership with an AI company that doesn't overread, so it's able to do the volumetric size of your brain and brain loss. And then we do a secondary scan with the AI called an MRA, which has been around a while, but the AI overread has not. And it removes all the gray matter and sees just your vessels. If you see, if you want to, you hear people say, well, we're aliens. You see the images from this, you could verify it. It's unbelievable. Of course,
when you see that scan and now it's 3D and you could turn the brain, there are moments where you almost see an alien.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty interesting. Same in our DNA. There's great stuff in there as well. But yeah, we find the threat. That's the first thing we want to do. Because if you have perfect blood panels or you're doing whatever peptides, you've done your DNA. If you have blockage in your heart and your LAD's 90% blocked, a lot of people, you may have symptoms, but you don't associate that. We think, especially us, meat-eating, cave-dwelling guys, we think we're immortal. So it doesn't matter what your other levels are. If you've got blockage in your heart and you don't know about it, first sign of a heart attack, typically a heart attack. So, we need to find that threat. We do that very efficiently, and we've been very good at it. From that point on, then we get into your biologics, your DNA, your blood levels. We keep track of that. We build out a 30-month plan. One of our doctors is here at the event. He's a cardiologist. Was one of the originators of original docs in the big heart hospital in Oklahoma, interventional guy, and all kinds of procedures. And that's really where he lives, in that threat detection world up front. Then we developed this plan. We have, I saw one of our PAs go by a while ago. They all get together and take your data and collaborate it. And we build you out a 30-month plan. And when we update it on a quarterly basis, we're always available. You can contact us, email 24 hours, normal hours by phone 7 days a week. And, the goal is to live, the next 30 years. So we call it 30, 30, 30. And then beyond, and to stay ahead of the curve, because at some point we'll reach escape velocity with healthcare, like we were talking about the data.
Kurzweil's last. Did you see Kurzweil's last prediction? He thinks 2029.
It's coming fast. It is, and of course, Mr. Asprey here is talking about living to 180. I mean, that's they know something, and they're close to it, and we're on the cusp of it.
A few of us have some kids. Some younger ones actually than me. I have 2 teenagers, and Mia's going to be 10 this year. When my kids were born, that's only 15 years ago, they were saying, the research that I was reading, some of the published reports I was reading, is that there's a child born in the 2010s that will live to be 150. That's what I was reading. So my kids' generation, that child is already walking the earth.
Normal, and that would be expected, not like some anomaly thing. I mean, it's on. The great news is the advancements are happening outside of our sick care system. And usually when I say that, I get some groans from because we have full staff of medical people, MDs, docs, PAs. I don't say we have bad doctors. We have the best doctors in the world in this, especially Dallas, New York City, Houston, LA. We have the best facilities and the best doctors in the world come here.
Absolutely.
But we're controlled by the payer system. It's archaic. It keeps a doctor from practicing medicine, because if you're bound by insurance and they can't get something approved, you're trained in your mind to not do it. And the medical, they won't order it. They can't get it approved. They don't ask, can you pay for it?
And when you're a dad or a mom and it's your kid, you know that you got to keep fighting. But it's a game. It's a game to get reimbursed. It's a game to get it covered. It's a game because why? Because a lot of people are just deer in headlights in that situation and just go, oh, I guess it's not allowed.
But what is that causing? And you said it the best a while ago. You said you had this team of guys that you can call, because why? You get access. If that payer is refusing a treatment or a scan, that keeps you from getting access. We're trained mentally. If a doctor can't get it approved, I can't get it. No, that's not the case.
I also think what you do makes it more cost effective from the insurance standpoint. They just don't want to admit it. There's so many more treatments and so many more things that you're going to have to do for me at stage 3 than you would have had to do for me at stage 0 and 1.
Absolutely. It's a whole other conversation. But we actually have a company that works with self-insured employers. We advise them on how to self-insure, become the control of their healthcare, and rent their networks. And the key is then implement our preventive type program, early detection program. And we've implemented it with a county government. And we're in our 9th year, and it's incredible what cost savings they've had.
Absolutely.
But not only that, the health and the productivity of their employees have increased tremendously.
Makes sense.
If we could implement that across the country,
Right.
it would flip. It
What
would
a
flip
great
the healthcare
incentive.
system. Yeah, we don't want to get rid of the doctors. When I start talking about this, they're like, "Yeah, you're talking negative about doctors." No, I can't. I'm not going to fix you. I can tell you what you need. We still need the best doctors in the world and the best facilities, but we can fund it a different way without having to put all the money through someone that controls the care. The doctors need to be in control of the care, not the payers.
And how does any of this change?
It changes by taking control of your health. And, one of the programs we do is buy a CAP policy, a catastrophic policy. They're very inexpensive, and save the money you would spend on your health insurance, and find there's guys like us all over now. There didn't used to be many, but take control of your health. Find your networks, find guys like you that have groups of docs that you can get in to see, and pay cash. We have a company called Direct Cardiovascular Care. It's cash-based, don't take any insurance, but we can do all the procedures, cath lab, ORs, everything is cash-based, and it's a fraction of the cost of the traditional healthcare system. Again,
Some of the best specialists I've met, especially in Northeast, they don't even want to discuss insurance, and rightfully so. They're one of the best 50 people on earth that know this.
Perfect.
Write the check, put your credit card down, and get the analysis you need for yourself, or in my case, for my kid.
That's what it's going to take to revolutionize the care. And plus, the government, the mandates that the healthcare systems have is about a third of their overhead. And it's, I know why they do it. I mean, we need catastrophic preparedness. We need all these things, but there's a better way to do it. And I think that's coming. I see lots of movement in it. A great friend and anesthesiologist just in Oklahoma City, Dr. Keith Smith, started an organization, 25 years ago now, called the Free Market Medical Association. Actually, he's a cash pay surgery center. Free market hasn't been around quite that long, but maybe 12 years now. I don't remember the exact date. When they started, there was 4 guys in it. Today, they've got thousands. And these are all physicians that are cash-based, specialists, surgery centers, imaging centers like us, all around the country. So it's growing, and hope, someday it will be the norm.
I agree.
Thanks for having me.
This was great. Nice to meet you.
You too. Good luck to you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for sitting with me.
You bet. Good job.
If you like stories like this, please like, follow, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms.